All right, today we're going to dive into a story about a hidden crisis in healthcare and how the solution, believe it or not, comes down to something as simple as a single set of car keys.
Okay, I want you to picture this. It's pre-dawn, super early, in a California parking lot. The air is cool. You've got this wheelchair-accessible van just sitting there, idling. And right there, in that quiet moment, you see two women passing a set of keys back and forth, almost like they're in a relay race. One is just finishing her night shift driving, and the other, she's about to start her day job. This simple handoff is literally the heartbeat of a life-saving operation.
So, you're probably wondering, how did we end up in this parking lot before sunrise? Well, this whole story actually kicks off about a decade earlier. It all starts with one of those women, Monica Barrett, and a single phone call that honestly changed her family's life forever.
So let's rewind to 2014. Monica's father gets a diagnosis, and just like that, he loses his sight. It was abrupt. And the fallout from that? It was immediate. I mean, his need for medical appointments didn't go anywhere, but his ability to get to them, that just vanished overnight.
And really, that's the heart of the matter, right? Think about it. The second you can't drive yourself anymore, your entire world just shrinks. It's not just about losing your car keys, it's a loss of independence, a loss of freedom, and most importantly, a loss of access to the care you absolutely need.
For Monica, this became her new normal, her daily reality. And she learned pretty fast just how frustrating it is trying to line up rides for someone. I mean, can you imagine the stress? You're stuck listening to that awful hold music, your stomach is in knots worrying if the driver's going to be late, and you're feeling completely vulnerable because your dad's health literally depends on a stranger just showing up.
But here's the thing. Monica's struggle, it was far from unique. She and her future business partner, a woman named Jasmine Archie, they started to realize that this incredibly personal, agonizing problem was actually this huge, silent barrier built right into the American healthcare system.
So there's actually an industry for this. It's called non-emergency medical transportation, or NEMT for short. The whole idea is super simple. It's a service that gives patients rides to their scheduled appointments. We're talking about things like dialysis, chemo, wound care. You know, the kind of appointments where being on time isn't just a suggestion, it's absolutely critical.
And this is the exact question Monica and Jasmine started asking. You know, one family's struggle is one thing, but how many other people were out there facing the same problem? Just how big was this? How many people were falling through the cracks just because they couldn't get a ride?
Well, the answer is, it's just staggering. A 2024 survey found that 64% of seniors, that's nearly 2 out of every 3, say that transportation is their #1 barrier to getting the healthcare they need. Let that sink in. This isn't some small, niche problem. It's a full-blown crisis, hiding right out in the open.
And what happens then? Well, it sets off this really dangerous chain reaction, like a set of dominoes. It all starts with one missed ride. That leads to a missed appointment. Then symptoms get worse. And before you know it, a patient can be facing serious, long-term health problems, all because of a simple logistical breakdown.
Okay, so Monica and Jasmine see this huge problem. They're armed with this knowledge, and they decide, you know what, we're going to build the solution ourselves. But as they found out really fast, just wanting to help and actually being able to help, well, those are two very, very different things.
Their vision, it was so beautifully simple, so powerful. They wanted to create a company that would do one thing, without fail, show up, just be reliable. But the reality they hit, it was like a brick wall. The banks all said no, insurance costs were through the roof, and the price of a single wheelchair van, absolutely staggering.
So let's break that down. They got zero, zilch, from the banks. They were staring down these insane costs for the special vans they needed. And on top of all that, these massive insurance bills were just looming over them. It really felt like the whole system was designed to stop small, dedicated companies like theirs from even getting off the ground.
But here's the thing. They just refused to give up. This is where sheer determination kicks in. They decided that if the system wasn't going to help them, they just have to find another way around it.
So what did they do? They went around the banks completely. They reached into their own pockets, took their own personal savings. We're talking about money they'd set aside for their own futures, and they used it to buy their very first van. I mean, what an incredible leap of faith. A huge bet on their mission and on each other. And just like that, after years of this uphill battle, all the way from that first diagnosis back in 2014, through that frustrating hunt for funding, their company finally became real. In April of 2019, their very first van officially rolled out. They named it MJ Reliable Transportation. Simple, right?
M for Monica, J for Jasmine. And that word, reliable, that wasn't just some marketing slogan they threw in there. No, that was their entire business model. It was the promise they were making to every single person they served.
And the personal sacrifice here was just immense. I mean, they both kept their full-time day jobs, so they created this non-stop 24-hour schedule. They would literally rotate driving shifts in the super early mornings and late at night just to make sure that van was always on the move, always helping patients.
Which really brings us to the true impact of what they've built. Because what they're providing here, it is so much more than just a ride from point A to point B.
When you really look at it, their van isn't just a van. It's a bridge. It's a bridge over this invisible gap in our society, a gap that separates people from the care they desperately need. It's a gap most of us don't even see until we're standing right at the edge about to fall in.
So what exactly does this bridge connect? Well, it closes the gap between getting a scary diagnosis and getting the consistent treatment that can save your life. It helps turn that fear that stops people from going to follow-up appointments into action. And it connects people who feel isolated right back to their community and their doctors.
And that's really what this all boils down to. This entire incredible venture, all the sacrifice, the sleepless nights, the huge financial risk, it all came from a place of love. It was born out of Monica's desperate need to solve this problem for her dad, a problem that grew into a mission to solve it for thousands of other people too. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Monica and Jasmine saw an invisible barrier, and they decided to build a bridge. What are the unseen gaps in your own community, and what simple, reliable things could you or we do to start closing them?